Stop putting bananas in your smoothies. This is what the internet wants us to believe, or at least that's a claim circling around social media as of late. But is it true, and where exactly does this claim actually come from? And why shouldn't you put bananas in your smoothie? These are the questions that we are going to answer in today's video. Let's start with the first question. Where does this claim actually come from? Well, this claim actually comes from this small little study that was released not too long ago. The researchers gave the participants two different types of smoothies. One smoothie was created with banana and the other with berries. Now, before we start looking at the results, let's just get something out of the way first. Banana has a great amount of polyphenol oxidase in them, also short for PPO. Now let's take for an example an apple. If you slice open an apple, you actually release the polyphenol oxidase that resides in the cells of the apple. And as soon as the polyphenol oxidase gets into contact with the oxygen, it starts to turn brown. That's also called oxidation, by the way. Hence the name oxidase at the end of polyphenol oxidase. Now, does this oxidase just destroy polyphenols? Well, that's actually quite up for debate, but some research is suggesting that it doesn't just destroy the polyphenols, but the nutritional value of certain plants. And in case you don't know what polyphenols actually are, well, polyphenols are actually created in plants, and there's tons of different polyphenols. There's so many that it's practically impossible to actually memorize every single one of them. And no, the list you see here are actually not all. This is just a small fraction of all the polyphenols that we have discovered so far. We actually have discovered thousands of different polyphenols. And there's emerging evidence suggesting that polyphenols can have a positive impact on your gut microbiome. And of course, also reduce oxidative stress within your body, reduce inflammation, and the list goes on. Evidence is suggesting that polyphenols are a pretty big deal. So now that you know what polyphenols are, let's turn back to the study. The researchers divided the study into two different parts. In part one, they gave 8 participants a smoothie made out of berries or a smoothie made out of bananas. And what you see here in the graph is pretty self-explanatory. You can see that the smoothie made with the banana destroyed almost all the polyphenols within that smoothie. And by the way, they added polyphenols to each of these two smoothies. The researchers also wanted to see how quickly the polyphenols actually were destroyed when you created the smoothie. And in the following graph, we can basically see that the polyphenol content was turned in half in less than 10 minutes. For the second part of the study, the researchers did something different. They allowed the participants to take an alternate sip between the smoothies. And that was actually a better approach for conserving polyphenols. However, we can still see some decline happening here illustrated in the graphs. But it's still a clear improvement to the first experiment. The researchers in this study actually went a little bit further and they performed an in vitro study looking at what happens at polyphenols in your stomach acid. The researchers stimulated our gastric digesting conditions and the polyphenol activity was sadly not destroyed. We have to keep a couple of things in mind here. First of all, we don't know which nutrients are actually being targeted by the polyphenol oxidase. And we also don't know whether polyphenol oxidase actually targets all the polyphenols. There's might some ways in which you can reduce the activation of polyphenol oxidase. For example, this study added ascorbic acid, which is the name for vitamin C, to lettuce, and they saw that the addition of vitamin C inhibited polyphenol oxidase. So this leads me to believe, what if you prepare a banana smoothie and you add fresh lemon juice in it? Would that direct addition of vitamin C actually reduce the activity of polyphenol oxidase or actually truly inhibit it? We don't know. So there's so many unknown answers. Now, what are the practical implications of knowing all of this? Well, these are my 2 cents. First of all, the more your slice open a produce, so an apple or a banana, the more polyphenol oxidase gets released. That's why the activation in blended produce, such as smoothies, for example, is expected to be the highest. I'm not sure how much of an impact that might have if you just add bananas to your porridge, for example. Secondly, if you want to kind of like reduce polyphenol oxidase, maybe there's something you can do. If you freeze your banana and you use them for your smoothies, you can actually decrease the activity of polyphenol oxidase. This has been demonstrated in this study right here. Furthermore, the addition of fresh vitamin C, such as lime juice, for example, or lemon juice, can decrease the activity of polyphenol oxidase even further. So if you do all these things, you can probably reduce the polyphenol oxidase to a significant amount, and you can still have your banana smoothie. But again, these are just my 2 cents. You don't have to rely on my word. You can actually try this out at home. Try freezing up a banana and then making a smoothie and adding lemon juice to it, for example, and make the smoothie and let it sit for 30 minutes. If it doesn't change any color, you probably have inactivated the polyphenol oxidase within your smoothie. If you don't want to do all these steps, by all means, don't do it. If you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, you are probably getting a lot of polyphenols in either way. You're not relying on smoothies alone. You're eating so many other meals as well. I just wanted to share a couple of methods that you can use in order to decrease the polyphenol oxidase activation. Now, I'm curious to know, are you using bananas to make your smoothies? And if so, are you still continuing to do so? Feel free to let me know in the comment section. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.